Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to show you how I prepare the food for all of my tortoises over the winter months in the UK. I currently have 3 adult leopard tortoises, 5 yearling leopard tortoises, 22 hatchling leopard tortoises, 2 yearling radiated tortoises and 2 Mediterranean spur-thighed or Greek tortoises. In the colder months in the UK, it's often more difficult to find food for them, so this video is to show you what I do to give them fresh food as much as possible in the winter, as well as what foods are to give them to ensure they still have a high fibre diet when I can't get hold of the fresh foods. I personally prefer to give my tortoises fresh grasses and tortoise-safe weeds and flowers, rather than the shop-bought salad mixes whenever possible. So to do this, I plan ahead by checking the weather forecast. And if a cold snap is coming in, then I go out and collect the grasses and weeds I need for the next few days. If the cold spell lasts longer than my stock of weeds and grasses, then I would use the alternative supermarket foods. However, I know it isn't always possible for everyone to have easy access to fresh grasses and weeds throughout the winter, so the rest of this video is a demonstration on what I would feed my tortoises when their normal fresh foods are limited. First, we'll start with foraging for fresh foods. I'm lucky enough to have a large garden, so I've got a good supply of grass all year round. The grass does grow much slower in the winter, but I found that in the tortoise run it is protected from frost, as you can see in this video, and when the sun comes out it warms up the tortoise run so that the grass in here grows much quicker than the main garden. You could also do this by using a greenhouse or a polytunnel. And here is a bucket of grass that I've collected from the tortoise run on a frosty day. Then we head up the top of the garden, where I have a selection of weeds in my polytunnel. On frosty nights I also cover the weeds with this fleece, as my polytunnel cover doesn't fit the frame properly, and this fleece gives it a little extra protection. So if you don't have a polytunnel, you can cover up your weeds on frosty nights with either the fleece, or you can use bubble wrap. Now that it's thawed out a bit, I can take the fleece off and then collect a few weeds from here. I will be doing another video on how you can grow your own tortoise food that will go through this in a lot more detail. And once again, I'll leave a link in the description of this video once it's complete. When I don't have enough weeds in my garden, then I take a walk around the local area on the hunt for weeds. Here we found a nice stash of plantain. A tip for searching for plantain or dandelion is to look under hedgerows or areas where weeds are in a sunny position but they're covered with leaves to protect them from frost. So just from this little strip by the fence panels, we've collected 2 bagfuls of mainly plantain with some dandelion and a whole load of leaves that I need to sort through. It's always best to give them as much variety as possible, so try and hunt for as many different tortoise-safe weeds as you can. Now that it's sorted, we have a bag of leaves and other weeds that I don't want. Then 2 tubs of tortoise-safe weeds. And this took us about an hour to pick and then sort through, so it's worth the effort to go foraging for weeds if you can. Although you see me pick plenty of weeds and grass that I could give them their normal fresh foods today, we'll assume that I only managed to find a handful of weeds and a small bag of grass, so that I can now show you the alternative foods that I would use. So here I have a bag of Floret crispy salad mix, and in here we've got lamb's leaf, frisée and radicchio, and I have some romaine and some grassland tortoise food pellets by Zoomed, and some dried testudo fibre by Prealpin, and a tub of meadow hay. I've also laid out some tubs so that you know what I'm feeding the different groups of tortoises I have. So here is the tub for the radiated tortoises, my Greek tortoises, my leopard tortoises, so we've got hatchlings, yearlings and adults. Please bear in mind that I'll be showing one day's winter foods, and if I needed to do this for another couple of days, then I would give them a different selection of foods on each day to give them the variety that they need. I do have another video on what I feed leopard tortoises that goes through lots of different winter food alternatives, and I'll leave a link in the description of this video for you. I will be doing other videos for radiated and Greek tortoises that will give lots of alternative food options as well. Okay, let's get started. So the first thing I'll do is to prepare the grassland tortoise pellets. I'll be giving this to my leopard tortoises, and I'll need roughly 2 scoops of this. Then I cover the pellets in warm water and then leave to soak for 5 to 10 minutes. Next we'll get the fibre mix ready for my Greek and radiated tortoises. So we'll have a couple of pinches of this, and again I'll soak it in warm water to soften it up a bit. If some of the pellets are still hard, then we can just add a bit more warm water. Next we can prepare the salad mix and romaine, so I'll empty this into the grey bowl. And then rinse a couple of times in cold water. Now I'll prepare the radiated tortoises food, so I'm picking out some lamb's leaf and a bit of frisée, and then tear up a few pieces of romaine. And then I'll add in some weeds we collected earlier. There's a bit much here, so I'll pop some of this into the Greek tortoises food tub. Now we can add in some of the fibre mix. And that's the radiated tortoises food done. Now onto the Greek tortoises food. We already have a pinch of food in here from earlier, so I'll just add in some more romaine, lamb's leaf, frisée and a couple of bits of fresh weeds. I'm also adding in a large pinch of the fibre mix that we prepared earlier. Now onto the food for the hatchling leopard tortoises. We'll start with some weeds, and I'm chopping this up quite small as they only have little beaks. Next we'll chop up a little of each of the other salad mix items. Then we'll give them some grass, again chopped up fairly small, and a pinch of softened pellets. Then we can give a quick mix together, and that's the hatchlings food done. Now onto the yearling leopard tortoises. They'll have the identical food as the hatchlings, only I don't need to chop it up as small as I did for the hatchlings. So we have salad mix, weeds, grass and a pinch of pellets. Then we mix it all together. The last tub to prepare is the adult leopard tortoises. They can have the rest of the salad mix and a good handful of grass, some weeds and the rest of the pellets. My leopards don't really like the pellets too much, and they'll only eat it if it's mixed in well with the other foods. And I'll also give them the leftover fibre mix, and I'll also mix in some meadow hay. Oh, one last thing, I meant to add in a little grass into the radiated tortoises food, so I'll just do that now. Okay, I'm happy with that now. So, here's their prepared food. We've got the radiateds, the Greeks, the leopards, so we've got hatchling, yearling and adults. Now we'll go and feed them and see how they like their temporary winter foods. First we'll feed the leopard hatchlings, and I'll give a sprinkle of calcium powder. And here they are a bit later enjoying their breakfast. Next the radiated tortoises, and again I'll give some calcium powder on their food as well. They've gone all camera shy, but they were munching away earlier. Then onto the Mediterranean spur-thighed or Greek tortoises. and we'll feed Linford first. Both Linford and Zola have recently come out of hibernation, so I'm keeping them indoors in a temporary setup until the weather warms up outside. And then we feed Zola. I think she must still be in bed. Yeah, there she is. And she's enjoying her breakfast as well. Then up in the tortoise shed we'll feed the yearling leopard tortoises. And a few of these have come over to try out the new food. And finally the adult leopard tortoises. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please click the thumbs up and share with your tortoise friends, and also don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos. Thanks for watching.